there, Internet. Mogwai here, and I got another Legends of Runeterra video for you guys today. Look at me vocalizing my words and all that, even though a lot of you probably did not understand what I said there. Anyways, regardless, today we're going to showcase an optimized, upgraded version of one of my favorite decks in the game. A deck that managed to get me to top 25 in Masters rank, and that is none other than Katarina's Battering Ram, aka Battering Ram, a stun deck built around Katarina that has been putting in the work for me lately. And this upgraded version is miles ahead of the prior version that I showcased on the channel, as I made several very key changes, right? And these changes stem from the fact that I'm understanding more and more every day what makes a deck tick in Runeterra. And one of the key things about Runeterra that a lot of people don't really emphasize enough on is how the spell mana system changes how your curve should look optimally. And unless you're a hyper aggro deck, I wouldn't really recommend you playing 1 mana creatures. This is a bit of a wild claim, right? Because if you come from other card game backgrounds, you tend to, incorporate 1 drops, 2 drops, 3 drops, so you can curve out and play optimally. But because in Runeterra you are floating spell mana when you don't play a card in the first couple of turns, and you are floating spell mana as the curve goes on onwards, but it's very key in the first couple of turns because that 1 mana and 2 mana can translate over to spell mana. It can lead to some very interesting turn 3 plays in which you can develop a threat with backup to support it from being removed by single target damage based removal, amongst many other things. So in this particular deck, what I did is I took away the 3 copies of Precious Pet and the 1 of Legion Saboteur, as I emphasized more of my curve on mana 3. As you can see, we have 18 cards that are 3 mana in this deck, and it actually really does work out, as we are still keeping our 2 drops of choice in Fae, Blade Twirler, and House Spider. House Spider more because of the fact that it is a solid 2 drop that helps us spread out some blockers early on for more aggressive matchups, and can also give us a solid early pressure threat for the likes of control decks, as well as a unit that divides itself into 2 bodies for 2 mana is just generally really solid, and I have it in this deck list for that reason. But the more important 2 drop in this deck, and one of the main powerhouses actually, is Fae Blade Twirler. She may be small, she may be a 2 mana 1/3, but she ends up becoming one of the most powerful units in your board later down the line, the more you buff her up through stun or recall effects. And the prime synergy this deck has is obviously between Fae Blade Twirler and Katarina. Every time Katarina strikes, you recall her, which will give Fae a +2 attack boost, and thus enable you to get her to boost every single time you drop Katarina and you strike with her again. So we have a deck comprised of multiple stun effects that will be exacerbated by Katarina's rally effect. And what I mean by this is, if we get to attack multiple times in one turn, we are therefore making these stun effects way more impactful than they originally are. A stun effect puts a unit out of combat for 1 round, but if there are multiple attacks in that round, then that's a very, very powerful effect to apply. And we can do so through the likes of Guile or even Arachnoid Sentry, which is low-key one of the best 3-drop followers in the game. In my opinion, this card is not played enough in Noxus decks. It is extremely good in many different matchups. A good example of how useful, reliable it can be is that for 3 mana, you can develop a body and halt Hecarim for an entire round, which is a pretty big deal. This card can also deny an opposing blocker as you are generating a body at the same time, which makes it pretty damn useful in aggro decks as well. And in this deck in particular, it's also buffing the Fae Blade Twirler, and like I said, it is putting a unit out of combat for Katarina to really enable you to, go deep on the opponent. As we look at the rest of our curve, most of our plays are at 3 mana. We do have the Arachno Sentry, Katarina, we have Zed and Shadow Assassin. All of these pretty damn important. But then we have Twin Disciplines, one of the most important cards in the deck, to protect our Zed and or Katarina from single target damage based removal by boosting our defenses, or potentially even pushing for more attack damage as we're trying to finish off our opponents as well. We also incorporated Whirling Death, which I think is extremely viable in this build, especially because we are running a full set of Elixir of Wrath amongst other buffs in the deck, which enable us to pump up our attack to high levels and then go for Whirling Death to get some really strong trades in our favor, and at the same time, clear our opponent's boards of pesky little potential blockers as we try to go for the kill later down the line. So Whirling Death, excellent source of removal in this deck, especially because we also do have access to Shadow Assassin, who has elusive, so it can still be useful against the elusive matchup, which is one of the only downsides to Whirling Death. If your deck has no elusives, this card becomes a little bit dead in the elusive matchup, but if you have access to that, then all the best. And as we curve out, we see a full set of Will of Ionia, Spirit's Refuge, which is there for extra protection for our Katarinas and our Zeds and our Fey Blade Twirlers, etc., but also a good source to win versus aggro decks, as we can gain or give one of our Fey Blade Twirlers with an insane attack stat lifesteal, and thus get back a shitload of health and make aggro players cry every time, which is fantastic. And last but not least, the star finisher of the deck. We used to have this only as a one-off in the build. Now we're going with a full set of 3, ladies and gentlemen. Battering Ram. Battering Ram is better and better the more I play it, and I see no reason not to run a 3 of this card in this deck. Obviously, this thing is absolutely massive when it comes to its toughness stat. It has 12 health, which makes it very, very difficult to kill for the opponent unless they have stuff like Vengeance or Ruination. You know, removal that is very expensive and does not really depend on, you know, damage. And I guess this card's worst enemy is perhaps Will of Ionia, right? As it is the cheapest way to be able to mitigate this thing. But if they don't have any of that, this will stay on the board and it will be dealing massive amounts of damage. And its major weakness, which is its lack of speed, it being a very slow card that requires multiple attacks to really start pushing out damage, is nullified with Katarina, as we are applying multiple rally effects, especially in the mid to late game, and getting multiple attacks with Battering Ram in the same round, and going from 4 to 8 to 12 to you're dead. I think if you're at 12, your opponent's dead. Like, if you get a third attack with this thing, the game is over. And that's why it's our prime finisher in this build. And I got some sweet gameplay for you guys in which we showcase this at its full potential. We're also playing Minotaur Reckoner as a one-off. I like this card quite a bit. It is kind of like our 4th Battering Ram in a way. And what it does is it nullifies the weakest enemy every turn. It prevents them from blocking. And like I said, stun effects are very reliable and they do stack up, and they are exacerbated through Katarina. So having a solid, well-statted unit for 6 mana that can enable these rally effects to be more threatening is obviously very damn useful. And that is the deck list right there. I went on quite the ramble in this deck tech, but I really do like this deck a lot. I put a lot of thought into it. I've been optimizing it time by time, and in today's video you will see me having a pretty insane streak as we climb through the ranks and we face all sorts of meta decks, and we do pretty well. And non-meta decks too. Like, we have pretty diverse matchups nowadays, and it leads to some very sick games that we had with this, and hopefully you guys enjoy them. And that's all I gotta say. If you do like Katarina, try this deck out. Do not play fair. That's what she said. I love her voice line and the knife sound that she applies whenever you hit the rally effect. It's pretty damn epic, in my opinion, of course. And that's all I gotta say. Have a solid day. Enjoy the games. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Spooky Karma. You can make an argument for keeping multiple Katarinas.
The dark beckons. The order rewards its faithful.
I like with the die.
Let the bloodshed begin.
I think this Katarina here is correct. He has 7 mana. We have a deny backup and Spirit's Refuge.
Blood for Noxus!
It's too late for you.
No one gets in my way!
Master.
Where there is life, there is hope.
Without a sound.
If I go for a barrier and he has a vile feast, that really stops us in our tracks, but I'm gonna do it. Vile feast counters this, and they always have it. Yeah. But deny is more important. No, I'm playing this poorly. This is not the correct time to play the Minotaur, actually. Because I jump right into a Dark Water Scourge into a... Yeah, this is incorrect. It's risky. If he has a Scourge into a Death Mark, then this is... Like, we're not... He could also just Ruination, but we're pretty okay with that.
Ionia speaks through me.
That was very risky.
I thought you'd run.
Don't let the fluffy tails fool you.
He probably has a deny if he's been going for this or another Death Mark. But I can still... Okay. That works out for me.
Try to keep up. Ionia.
I'm not playing into a Ruination.
No going back.
That I'm pretty sure this is the one that I had revealed. Yep.
I'm not done.
Try to keep up.
No suffering, so we may end it.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Never played fair.
Never play fair. Belch!
Sweet as the blade.
Find enlightenment.
Let's go with style. Wait, no, that doesn't make any sense. I don't need to do that. Fuck yeah. Oh, that one felt good. There we go. Teemo Karma. I am officially intimidated. I'm gonna keep the Twin Disciplines. Twin Disciplines is one of the best cards in this deck. Alright, no turn 1 Teemo.
There was a little fella asking for me.
I'm gonna go with this. I wanna wait on Katarina.
The Order rewards its faithful.
I got ways to find me mushrooms.
I will play my part.
Roar! What you looking for?
Master.
They grow up so fast.
No going back.
Oh shit.
Only fools hesitate. No one gets in my way.
Alright. In Battering Ram we trust.
Prepared for anything.
We gotta stun this. Because otherwise we're gonna have a bazillion puff caps by the end of this. Arigato gozaimasu!
I love the smell of mushrooms in the morning.
Hopefully he doesn't have a Will of Ionia. That would really suck.
Let the bloodshed begin.
Will of Ionia. Okay, no Will of Ionia. Actually, we're fine with this, aren't we? Because we could just play another one. Yeah.
I've always been a fun guy.
I'm not done.
Been down in the sump, haven't you?
Never.
Never play fair.
More for my collection.
Got it. That was scary. That's a really cool deck. Like I tried building that actually. Like I actually tried building that deck, but the problem was I didn't think about the assembly bot. The problem with the assembly bot is if you, I mean, yeah, it's really interesting. It's a really cool deck. Like I gotta revisit that. Cloud Drinker is a really cool card. It's a good hand. God, this deck is so fun, dude. Holy crap.
Don't let the fluffy tails fool you.
What are we concerned about here with Katarina? I'm gonna play you though, I think. Alright.
Let the bloodshed begin.
I was looking up this deck because
A chill in the air.
I'm pretty sure this is
Pick on someone your own speed.
we can bypass their frostbites with our elixir of wrath and our twin disciplines. Arigato
You
gozaimasu.
reign over a barren wasteland.
Our lands may be hard, but so are we.
My arrow won't miss.
I can trade you into you. That's fine.
The time is right. Strike now.
Quick as the blade. Violence solves everything. Never play fair. Blood for Noxus.
Stay back.
Underestimate. I dare you.
Show me a target.
Gotcha. Beautiful. Beautiful! Oh my god, so beautiful. Next turn we're at 7 mana, which means we do wanna translate this, right? Yeah, we definitely do. Because we ooh. No, we stun. nasty. Oh. Oh.
Try to keep up.
Never.
Let the bloodshed begin.
Or let the bloodshed begin. Okay, I like the never play fair, but I'll take that too. Oh, this deck is hot. This deck is hot. Any tips to climb? Get good. I'm just kidding. Could you elaborate a little bit though? Like, do you have any questions specifically? I'm sorry if I came off like I'm just messing. Elusives. We definitely want you early on. All these are decent, but I'd rather have yeah, Will of Ionia over this right now. There's the hut.
They picked the wrong row?
Think you're fast? Cute.
Closing in on the mark.
I'm gonna play the Sentry and stun this. We could see a Will of Ionia here. I think that may be what he's. I think he's telegraphing a Will of Ionia in his hand. So let's keep in mind that he has a Will of Ionia. Hey, buddy, you're making a bit of noise.
Try to keep up.
If he spends like a twin disciplines here, I'm so happy with that. That wouldn't make much sense.
Alone, we see things as they truly are. Extra hands never hurt.
Don't ask how I got it.
Wow. Why not attack?
Yeah. This isn't pasta training. My sweet button.
Now who's got the upper hand?
Ooh. So by going for Will of Ionia on the Solitary Monk, like if he wants to play it again, he has to recall everything, so that becomes a bit of a liability for him. This Battering Ram is certainly very interesting.
Looking for a daring escape?
I think we stunned this. Do we? Yeah, I think we do. We stall.
First step's the hardest.
summon your own speed. Don't let the fluffy tails fool you.
Shh, quietly. Got what I came for. They'll never see me coming. I know a way.
Katarina here would be amazing.
Underestimate me. I dare you.
Silent as death.
No going back. To the point.
Try to keep up.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
This one's trouble.
I'll take care of this.
Violence solves everything.
Protect each other.
Can you take this for me, Katarina? Can you take it home?
The Order rewards its faithful.
Round 2.
Never play fair.
We don't play fair. He's sweating.
Eyes open.
He's
Watch the
sweating.
branches.
And that's not bad luck. He just ran out of fucking 1-drops. He played them all.
To the point.
Pick on summon your own speed.
It will be done.
Looking for this?
You cannot escape.
You need more than that.
Here's our chance.
Alright, let's see how we fare against aggro. This sort of matchup is why we're packing 3 copies of Soul Reforge. I love the House Spider. I also don't mind. I actually like this hand. This hand is low-key pretty great. It's filled with stuns, which can slow down my opponent's aggression. Like, this Guile can just deny, can just stall out a Darius for 1 turn, which is really important. So we're gonna hold on to this Guile for later. And in the meanwhile, we're gonna be using these spiders. Like, that's why I really like Spider as my other 2-drop in this deck. Obviously, Fae Blade Twirler is the most important one. But the reason why I like the House Spider is because it's so solid against aggro. And it's just a good 2-drop in general, very flexible. It's not incredible, but it's very good in all matchups. And I guess we're trading, you know, Spider for Spider.
Do not fear the shrouded path.
No one's the wiser.
They won't suffer long. Embrace shadow.
I could have attacked with this spiderling as well. No reason not to, right? But I'm just in case he has some weird shit. Like I want to make sure I can have this as a blocker because he could have like a, I don't know.
I stand for Nazis.
You are going to actually stand right there and do nothing. Arachnoid Sentry is the hipster's Icevale Archer. I'm gonna protect my Zed, like I'm not gonna play into a battle bond here. I'll take the hit. Yep.
Damn it!
Boom, boom, boom.
Do not deny me. We go as one. I feel your fear, Noxian dog.
You're the one hiding behind a mask.
See what I was talking about with Guile earlier?
From blood, glory!
Pair up.
Cut the breath from them. An apt pupil.
My life for the Order.
Should I have taken a different approach here? Should I have played the battering ram? That's a lot of damage incoming. I should have killed the 9-1. What was I thinking? I would have taken more damage, but I should have definitely killed the 9. I don't know what I was thinking there.
Night falls.
Only the worthy survive. Stop following me.
Not so fast.
Man, if I had a combat trick here.
If I fall, so be it.
It's too late for you.
Fight as one.
Master.
Press on.
Here we go.
Let the bloodshed begin. Quick as the blood.
One of us dies.